Surprise! VR RPGs are finally getting good. Sony wants to change your game's difficulty on the fly, and Valve gives the banhammer to those on their naughty list. I'm Ash Dixon, and this is GINX News. What do Journey of the Gods, The Mage's Tale, and Zenith the Last City have in common? Well, they're all RPGs that you can play in the lovely world of VR. Journey of the Gods in particular hits me right in the Shadow of Colossus feels, but all of them are good, but not quite great. Well, one particular game has come along and changed all that, and that game is Asgard Wrath 2. The first Asgard Wrath, again, was good, but the sequel, it's an absolute banger. According to Metacritic, it's getting universally perfect reviews with an average score of 94. To give that a bit of context, this year's Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3, has an average score of 96. You play as a Norse god who's betrayed by Loki and sent to Egypt, of all places, and then interact with Egyptian gods to get your revenge. Combining Norse and Egyptian mythology already sounds pretty damn cool, but in an open world VR game, well, it seems like people are lapping it up. Crazier still, it comes free with the Meta Quest 3. Now, these bundled free games are normally pretty mid, you know, like Wii Sports. Oh, who am I kidding? That was a classic. Which makes it all the more impressive that it's the best reviewed VR game since Half-Life Alyx, with NPR saying it's reached a new god mode and Digital Trends claiming that it's a new beginning for VR gaming. Which might just be what the doctor ordered, because RPGs in VR haven't been the best bed pals. You see, most traditional RPGs are time suckers. You start playing, you get in a groove, and before you know it, you've lost 8 hours into exploring Skyrim. But with VR, it's not that simple. First of all, you've got this big old thing attached to your face. I don't know about you, but I like to have my head thing-free every now and again. And I certainly wouldn't want anything attached to it for like 8 hours straight. Secondly, there's the motion sickness and
cyber sickness, boomer.
I don't care what you call it, all I know is after 20 minutes, I feel like and even the most experienced VR users will probably feel a little nauseous after playing for so long, right? And while sadly I haven't had the chance to play Asgard Wrath 2 yet, for it to be so universally praised, it must be pretty damn immersive, despite most players needing to take breaks more often than you would if you were playing a traditional RPG. When VR was first revealed, I think RPGs like this were what everyone envisioned, so do hit us up with your opinions if you've given it a go. Did I plan to spend the end of 2023 playing a ton of World of Warcraft? No, I did not, but thanks to Season of Discovery, I'm spending my hours running from one side of Elwyn Forest to the other, just to run all the way back again. Thank God for the numlock key. Quick reminder for those unaware, but it's the new seasonal mode based on classic WoW, but with some spicy new spells and abilities, and a current level cap of just 25. And according to a new poll by Blizzard, I ain't the only one sinking the hours in. Over on the WoW YouTube channel, they asked everyone how they're playing WoW right now, and out of the 60,000 votes, Season of Discovery got a crazy 41% of them. And that's exceptionally close to Dragonflight's 47%, you know, the current expansion. It's a rather impressive feat considering it dropped basically out of nowhere and is essentially just a 19-year-old game. Now, I know a lot of people will say this is more of a reflection on retail WoW, and yes, it's had some major hiccups, looking at you Shadowlands, but to be fair, Dragonflight was pretty sick, and it makes sense it's dropped off a bit considering it's been out for a while. So why are hordes of people playing Season of Discovery? Well, I actually think the main reason is the low level cap. Yes, the new spells are exciting, and who doesn't like a healthy dose of nostalgia, but getting to level 60 in Classic feels like a trek, and it's a big investment for a lot of people these days, especially if we've all done that leveling process multiple times before. However, level 25 is nice and achievable. It prevents that feeling of being left behind and makes those early levels actually feel rewarding. I remember chatting to some friends a week after release like, yeah, I'm already 5 levels away from max, as if it was some big achievement. And then I realized, bro, you're level 20, calm down. And while it's looking like a big success for Blizzard, there are definitely some areas for improvement, like why the hell do you have to go into a raid to get the Warlock tanking spec? That's the whole reason I picked Warlock, to try this cool new role, and I have to do 95% of the content first before I even get to do that? Like, who made that decision? Also, sympathies for the rogues who want to tank as well, because that's locked behind a rep grind for some reason. And while we're at it, I do feel like they could have mixed in some quality of life runes for everyone. I know it's part of the classic experience to run around everywhere at 2 miles per hour, but would it have hurt to throw in a couple of quirky movement abilities or something just to make it feel a little less tedious? Hopefully they learn from these things when they do raise the level cap to 40. And I'm also curious what you think. Have you been playing Seasons of Discovery? What are your likes and dislikes? Let us know in the comments down below. Ever feel like you've hit a brick wall where a game just gets too hard to progress? Well, Sony are hoping to rectify that with a new patent that changes up the difficulty as you play. The idea is that a bunch of algorithms assess how you play in real time, adjusting certain mechanics to your skill level, giving you a tailored experience that hopefully keeps things just the right amount of challenging. Now, in theory, I can see why they want to do this, but I must admit, I do have my reservations. I personally like finding parts of games that are just way too hard because it gives you a choice. Go away, get more powerful, and return with a big off sword, or be a stubborn and spend the next 3 hours until you finally succeed. Looking at you, big mama spider from Baldur's Gate 3. And both of those choices are massively satisfying. We were just speaking about classic WoW earlier, and I always thought it was really cool stumbling into a new zone full of these super powerful enemies, getting instantly slaughtered, but then coming back 5 levels later to reap some sweet revenge. Also, you might be thinking, why is this being patented? Adaptive difficulty settings really aren't anything new. Well, Sony's system would track a player's ability over multiple games and use that data for adjusting other games too. And that data would be broken down into multiple categories. Perhaps you have a great response time and you're sick at platforming, but when it comes to aiming, you ain't exactly getting the headshots. Hopefully, with all these taken into account, the new system will keep the game nice and balanced. Valve have been sending Dota 2 players some early Christmas presents, giving away free cosmetic armor as part of their Frostivus 2023 event. Or at least, they have been if you've been on the nice list. If you're on the naughty list, well, you might be getting something else. I'll let this clip of streamer Mason tell the story.
Owned. Open gift. What did I get? What? I got banned? What? Are they serious? Ugh!
That's right, some players have been getting a big ol' highly toxic lump of coal instead. The reason? Because Valve are getting pretty fed up with Smurf accounts. In a recent blog post, they said, "This year is gonna be a bloodbath." You might remember back in September, we got the ban hammer out and permanently banned 90,000 Smurf accounts. Since then, we've continued to invest in player behavior monitoring on both the manual and automatic analysis fronts. Over the last few weeks, we've engaged in an even more aggressive ban wave, including many tens of thousands of Smurf account bans today alone. And it seems like they're not messing around. Mason is by far the most high-profile content creator to have been hit by the ban hammer, and he took to Reddit in a now-deleted post claiming that he's never cheated. He did, however, admit to buying a behavior score booster, which he got rid of after feeling guilty about it. Well, Redditors are siding with Valve on this one, as it appears as though Mason has been a bit of a toxic and the many replies calling him such explain why he deleted the original post. The guy's been playing Dota for 13 years now, so it's fair to say this is one monumental up. Valve left the now banned players a pretty brutal Christmas message too, saying, "We'd like to wish everyone a happy Frostivus update, except Smurf accounts, who we assume will not enjoy the update as they choke on their richly deserved coal-flavoured just desserts." Oh, ouch. I've got to hand it to them though, not only are they rewarding those on the nice list with some free cosmetics, but they're not standing for smurfing and rule breaking too. But hey, if you didn't want coal, maybe don't smurf. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And that's the show. We've got a whole week of gaming news ahead, so make sure to like and subscribe. Check out Friday's video somewhere around here. I'll see you tomorrow.